tries to appease the Bolshevik dark gods for liking the wrong tweet. Between people are on you on social media. There are people who will follow you if you're a celebrity to see like what tweets, who you interact with to see if you're guilty of wrongthink. He liked to tweet between JK Rowling and India Willoughby. Today in passive aggressive social media, we're going to speak our truth to power. First of all, click the link to join the channel, become a member here over, subscribe, start, and be sure to get on Rumble and Odyssey. I was sleeping on Rumble. I had no idea that it had so many wrong thinkers on it, and everyone who got kicked off of YouTube went on Odyssey and Rumble. Rumble is kind of the entry level drug to Odyssey, which is the same for Bit Chute, and then finally you have Gab TV. First of all, for this video, you can support rights for all people and still not agree with them. Something not everyone seems to comprehend. And you can also argue both sides of an issue without firmly believing in one side or the other. The old adage, if you don't know your opponent's argument, you don't know your own. It's like, I couldn't possibly argue for or against abortion. It's like, well, then you're not ready to enter into a debate. So clout chasers, Brianna Wu, Anita Sarkeesian, and Zoe Quinn rear their heads again. First of all, never apologize to SJWs. If you remember nothing else, never apologize to them, because the struggle session will never end. Once they have control over you, they will always seek more. They want your money. They want you to release statements. They want to use you as a puppet. It will never end for them, because every one of them who discovers this story, this major issue, will pretend it's some major issue so they can, drama alert, and they use it to clout chase. They'll use it as a fresh way to manipulate you. And I've seen it happen in the comic industry where they try to get people to donate money from sales of certain comic books, and they seem to think people in comics are making way more money than they think. It's like, yeah, that was $4,700 for some cover that was problematic. So, okay, you want me to donate? It's like, I still have a mortgage to pay. How am I gonna do that by giving away money? Thing is, you can't appease a mob, and it's an exercise in futility to even try. If you apologize or acknowledge something as an issue or even a faux pas, they will forever use it as a lever over you. The only thing you can do with SJWs on Twitter is just to block them, even if you have to go through and block 1,000 mentally ill people. Because once they're blocked, they have no reason to interact with you. Then it kind of, they've got to go out of their way to stalk your account, and it shifts the presumption, the moral burden. It makes him go from passive to active, like with Renfamous and the Vic Mignogna convention, where she said she had bought a ticket to a convention, and then she discovered that Vic was there. It's like, he was there first, and like everyone knows this, you're just trying to get some attention drawn your way. It makes them look a little bit nutty because now they have no reason to engage with you. It's like you've clearly said they're blocked, you don't want to deal with them, and then they're still stalking you. It's like, well, that's nutty even for the left. So then they do stuff like they misspell your name so you can't report their tweets for harassment. But at some point, their own side is going to look at them and wonder why they're so obsessed with some celebrity or pseudo grade B internet celebrity, which is, that it's like you can almost understand them stalking someone who's really at the top of a public figure. But then they go down and down and down, and they're starting to get to like voice actors. And like, just leave these people go after somebody. I mean, don't go after anyone, but like to go after, people on like little YouTube Comicsgate channels is what we've seen over the past 5 years is really bizarre. I mean, set your goals higher if you're going to be a stalker. Anyway, always block weirdos, especially if they're marginalized and oppressed, then make fun of them behind a block. Especially block the bigger name weirdos like Brianna, Zoe, Anita types. They're absolutely not worth the hassle. And once you block them, it's like they can rage about it for a little bit, but only a little bit, because they can't keep talking about it. Because if they do, then it makes them look like, even though on the side they'll go like, oh, you just got to move on. With Brianna Wu was in the comment section of Mark Hamill trying to harass them. It's like once you block them, it's over. They can't keep pretending to come across your tweets. It's like you had to sign out to find their tweets, or someone forwarded me a screen cap. It's like, no, they didn't. Anyway, so today in Clown World, oh, it's getting so clowny outside with this soft Bolshevik takeover. JK Rowling, a few years ago, made it clear that while she is a left-wing nutjob, as is Mark Hamill, he seems kind of slow, honestly. She still believes that women are adult human females, and this didn't go over so well on Twitter. The left on social media has a bunch of weird 1984 phrases that they just repeat, sometimes with a period or a hand clapping icon between words like love is love or trans women are women or love has no age or refugees are welcome but not in my backyard. Or they'll just do they'll just copy and paste lines of these things like they think repetition is magic. Trans X is X. Well, no, literally that's not how the language works. X is X or trans X is trans X are both logical statements, but not that one modifies the other. But if I clap my hands, does it make it real? Unfortunately, not. Imagine with clapping of the hands, we're going to build this bridge with metric and standard. Clap, clap. What happens is the bridge collapses. Anyway, so JK Rowling is hated by this bunch of the left wing, branch of the left wing. In fact, any woman on social media who thinks a woman is a woman will get violent threats from these people, literally, who wish to, or they openly talk about how they wish to tie them up and struggle snuggle them and sometimes impregnate them. So like you can tell in their heads, this is a this is some dark fantasy for them. And I say that specifically because I've seen that specifically, the incapacitate them, impregnate them, struggle snuggle them, and then decapitate them. I mean, like this is a really, like you're dealing with people who are way off the spectrum of allowable mental illness. Like you're not just telling somebody to go delete themselves, humorously. Like they have fantasies about what they're going to do to TERFs. And these are black biological males who are saying this kind of stuff. It's really like the internet is just this. Twitter especially is a very very dark place. And up until recently, it was encouraged by Twitter. Now with under new management, things are changing a little bit, but it's not like it's not like Gab or anything. Anyway, and nobody on the left tells these people to maybe, dial back the actual threats of Malum and say activity a little bit, because in the optics war, it's like the things they're saying are clearly losing positions. And they did something like they went to her house and her address was visible in the background. And these three guys go to her house and they're holding up some kind of signs or something about she's a TERF or something. And people are looking at it like, so you get these three big dudes who are outside her house, the address is visible, and you put that on social media, and then you left social media because you said you're harassed, but it's like, you took something that was on social media and you went to a woman's house. Or you went to anyone's house, male or female, it doesn't matter. That shows that they don't understand the boundaries between the internet space and then showing up at someone's personal space. And it shows like as soon as you see that, it's like obviously the alarm bells go off because you're dealing with people who've got some serious issues because they don't understand. The boundaries is one thing, but they don't understand how they would be perceived by other people, which is where they're somewhere on the spectrum of not understanding how their optics would be understood by other people. Like people look at that and they like immediately pull back from that, like, you guys can't go to somebody's house. That's really disturbing. Anyway, but in their Frankfurt School critical theory Bolshevik world, these guys are above them on the imaginary oppression ladder, and thus they're above reproach. The Frankfurt School philosophy is the opposite of merit or blind-based argument. There's no Socratic method here. It's a system of control through fear and ostracization via social media manipulation. They'll use doxing and threats and implied threats to have a chilling effect on free speech and to control the public face of discourse to the point where if you like a tweet that these puppet masters have determined is the wrong position, they'll harass you openly and endlessly over it on social media. They're terrified of the idea of diversity of thought or that public figures will start to leave the Marxist plantation, which realistically is not going to happen because Hollywood is controlled by Bolsheviks. So it's rare when somebody goes off script, like Mark Hamill here with this India tweet, where they said that they were more of a woman than JK Rowling, who is literally a biological woman, an adult human female, in India is literally not. It's a nonsense statement that gets the left of the bell curve crowd up in arms, and they're clapping like trained seals. And then JK asked them to prove it, citation needed, and Mark Hamill liked that tweet because it was funny. But of course, then he had to explain, but he didn't apologize for it, which is kind of interesting. He said that she was speaking her truth to power. So that's kind of an ambiguous coming from Hamill. But he's also retired from acting. He's 70 years old, I think. So he can say things he couldn't say if he had some years to go in the industry. All he wants to do now is, I don't know if he goes to cons and sells pictures of himself for, $100. I don't know if he's above that, but it's like that's obviously a very lucrative thing to do. So I mean, that's the extent of what he wants to do in the future. But keep in mind, if he went too far, I mean, well, I don't know. Cons aren't so eager to cancel people who draw crowds. Like Vic Mignogna got canceled from some, but then invited to others. Because you look at it, and it's like, oh, this guy's gonna, pull in $5,000-$10,000 a day for the con, or he's a big part of why people are going. And you're not saying. And then they be like, people, well, will the people who boycott it, are they gonna, what's the net? What's the net gonna be? And it's like the people, it's you're usually better off just having pretending not to be aware of the issue. In fact, that's the best. Willful ignorance is the best. Is like to block or mute people, or just pretend not to be aware of these issues, and just not respond to them on social media, and don't get drawn into other people's fights, which is actually sometimes muting people can be even better than blocking people, because then they just scream into a void. But I mean, with some of these troublemakers, you're better off just blocking them once, because then once it's done, and they can't keep coming back to them. Anyway, so is this stuff all fake and I don't know, G-slur, I guess? Yeah, this is the Weimar soft Bolshevik takeover, where they're forcing you to believe, or at least parrot absurdities, so they can commit these atrocities. And you can look around. It's looks around, puts on the nightmare glasses, but nothing has changed. They're actually committing atrocities to kids right now. That's very istophobic if you say what they're doing to kids and you compare it to an atrocity. But it is what they're doing to kids today is an atrocity. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And thank God the D-trans movement is slowly growing on Twitter and YouTube. And you put YouTube in a difficult position, because there's some of these channels that are popping up. And like YouTube is just looking for a reason to ban them. And the hatred those people get on social media is insane. The venom from people who are saying, "Oh yeah, we made a mistake. We were kids. Or the system, our parents and these doctors let us down." And like the other BLT members of the community will jump on them and just hates them. It's just so bitter and painful. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel here, become a member, or subscribe. Star thanks to Vegan and everyone else. Be sure to join the Rumble. Rumble is, and if you have a channel on YouTube, set up Rumble and Odyssey to auto clone your channel, auto sync your channel. It does it automatically. You don't have to lift a finger. And I will see you guys all next episode.